Okay? And then we're going to start reading. Okay, so it says, giving the simple or simplest remedies. We have come to a time when every member of the church should take hold of medical missionary work. Testimonies, volume 7, page 62, paragraph 1. God's people are to be genuine medical missionaries. They should know how to give what kind of treatments? Simple treatments that do so much to relieve pain and remove disease. Every person, that's Welfare Ministry, page 127, paragraph 1. Every person should have a knowledge of nature's remedial agencies and how to apply them. It is essential both to understand the principles involved in the treatment of the sick and to have what kind of training? Practical, that's what we're doing right now. Practical training that will enable one rightly to use this knowledge. Ministry of Healing 127, paragraph 2. In case of sickness, how many should understand? All should understand what to do for themselves. They may call upon someone who understands nursing, but how many? Everyone should have an intelligent knowledge of the house he lives in. All should understand what to do in case of sickness. Second Selected Messages, page 289, paragraph 4. The God of nature directs the human agent to use what? When? Now. Use natural remedies now. Second Selected Messages, page 286, paragraph 4. Give those who are sick what kind of treatments? Simple treatments that will relieve them. Medical Ministry 320, paragraph 2. Nature's what kind of remedies? Simple remedies will aid in recovery without leaving the deadly after effects so often felt by those who use poisonous drugs. Second Selected Messages 281, paragraph 3. Now what's that first word in the next paragraph? Always study and teach the use of what kind of remedies? The simplest remedies. Brothers and sisters, if we've been given the simplest remedy in the spirit of prophecy, we need not reinvent the wheel. If something only has 2 ingredients and we are making something for the same condition, but we're using 10 ingredients and we have to do all this chopping and cutting and spend all this money on extra ingredients, it's not necessary. We want the simplest remedies. Okay? The use of these means, the special blessing of the Lord may be expected to be followed. The use of these means which are within the reach of what? It should say common people. The word people got cut off. So we want to use simple remedies that is within the reach of the common people. And we're going to find out where you can get these items. That's Policy Collection 38, paragraph 4. Let us present the gospel to the sick, connecting who? Jesus, the great healer, with the what? Simple remedies. So when we teach the simple remedies, who are we supposed to connect these people to with these simple remedies? Jesus. No matter how simple the remedy is, you still need to introduce Christ. Medical Ministry, page 29, paragraph 1. Last quote. We cannot expect the Lord to work a miracle for us while we neglect the simple remedies He has provided for our use. So will God work a miracle if we neglect these remedies? No. If we say, no, I don't want that. I had a relative, they were sick, complaining, oh, I'm dying, I'm sick, help. And when we tried to help, they didn't want to take anything. So my thing was, either you take it or you're on your own. So we can't expect God to work a miracle, which aptly and opportunely applied will bring about a miraculous result. Therefore, pray, believe, and work. 7 Bible Commentaries, page 939, paragraph 2, which originally comes from letter 66, 19. Okay, so before we go into our remedies, I'm just going to give you a little history about myself. As you know, my name is Christine. I came into the message in 1990, and in 1991, I came into the message in 1990, and in 1991, I started learning the natural remedies. And I raised, at that time, I had 4 children, and then later I had 2 more. And since 91 until 4 years ago, I used all natural remedies in my home. I got rid of the Robitussin and the amoxicillin and everything. So these remedies that I'm going to be sharing with you, I've been using these for 28 years. And they are effective and they work, and my children have always been told they were in excellent health. And we didn't use antibiotics. The only thing I used medicine for at the time, because I didn't know what to do for pain, if they broke a bone, they took pain medication. But we threw out the Tylenol, we threw out the cough syrup. Okay, it's still saying it's full. Okay, we'll figure it out. Thank you. Okay, so now we're going to go into our remedies. So, Brother Nestor, can we give them the natural remedies for cold and flu season? You can actually give them both handouts right now. So we're going to be doing the natural remedies for cold and flu season. We're not going to cover every one, but what you can do is you can read it. It's very self-explanatory. And these remedies are very simple remedies. A child can do these remedies. So we want the simplest remedies. So when everyone has their handouts, let me know. And you'll want to follow your handouts as we go through them. Okay, does everyone have their handouts? Does Rich have some handouts? Okay, we good? Okay, so the first remedy we're going to do, it's a simple remedy, and I might need someone back here for me to help me take the stuff and put it in the sink and wash it, because I might need some of these things again, is the cough remedy. So I used to have several kids at home, so I would do 1 cup of this cough medicine. But if it's just you, or just 2 people, you could do a 1/4 cup, you could do a 1/2 cup. So what it is it's a cup of honey. Now you want to be sure the honey's from a honey farm or a farmer's market. Stored honey's pollen has been removed, making it non-medicinal. So you want to make sure your honey's from a farmer's market, a honey farm, or Trader Joe's. Trader Joe's has excellent honey. They said Trader Joe's is fine. So you would do 1 cup of honey to 8 drops of eucalyptus oil. Now, the eucalyptus oil I use is Earache, or you can use the Revive. Now, this says external use only. But Dr. Thomas Jackson made a disclaimer. They have to say that in case you ingest the entire bottle. I personally have been using this for 28 years with no problems. But I let people know this says external use only, okay? So that they take it upon their own, so that I'm not liable or that you're not liable. But this is the one I use. I also use the Revive. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make a small dosage. So if it's 1 cup to 8 drops, how many drops would it be for 1/8 of a cup? How many tablespoons in a cup? 16 tablespoons. So what is 8 divided into 16? So we would do 2 tablespoons and 1 drop of the oil. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to show you guys how I do this. And this is wild honey. Okay, so I do 1, and we'll pass it around and let everyone smell it. And 2, get a spoon. Got someone back here to help? Okay. And then I'm just going to do 1 drop. This is not coming out. Yes. 1 drop. And if you get 1.5 drops in there, that's okay. And then you would have them, I have adults take a tablespoon. If you're dealing with diabetics, you have to take 1 teaspoon. The best time to take this is upon retirement for bed. For children, you give them half to a whole teaspoon. Small children, half. Older children, like 8, 9, 10, you give them a whole teaspoon. And you can give it, repeat it throughout the day if necessary. But the best time to take it is before bed, so always give it to them. So I'm going to give it to you and let you pass this around. You smell it. And let's see, it smells really good. Now, some people buy the Ricola cough drops. They have menthol and other things in them that are not helpful for you. This works like a charm. Okay, thank you very much. This works like a charm. And I've had nothing but success. We use diamond tap and road testing before I learned this remedy. And this remedy is listed in the Spirit of Prophecy as the best remedy for a cough. Also for throat problems, if you take a spoonful in your mouth and let it just slide around your throat, that helps the throat as well. Okay, so the next one is earache remedy. So you can do about 1/4 to 1/3 cup of olive oil. I had a son who suffered tremendously from earaches because his father used to give him milk all the time. The #1 cause of earaches in children is dairy. So if you want to stop the earaches, what do you need to remove? You need to remove the dairy. Because they have a very short eustachian tube. I've been drinking that bottle and it dribbles down the ear. So I do about 1/4 to 1/3 cup of olive oil. I do 6 cloves, 6 to 8 cloves. If I do a 1/4 cup, I do 6. If I do a 1/3 of a cup, I do 8 cloves. And then you just mix it in here and you heat it on the stove just enough. And you want to pass this around? Could I make you kind of test? Just so they can see the size. It doesn't have to be real fine. You want to heat it just enough to heat the oil, but not cook the garlic. If the garlic starts sizzling, you cooked it too long. Put it on very, very low. Anyone want to take some cough stuff home? Cough remedy home? Because we give them away. Okay? So what you do with this is when it's done, you let it cool, you get a piece of cotton ball, or a paper towel, or tissue. I ripped the cotton ball in half, I dip 1 in the oil, and you put 3 to 4 drops in the affected ear. Now, it's always good to have an otoscope. Who knows what an otoscope looks like? You want to make sure the ear is not punctured. I have an otoscope here. You can get this at Walmart. It's one of these things. I got this from Walmart. My light is out. I'm going to get more batteries. But you just stick it in the ear, and it gives you a paper that tells you what an infected eardrum looks like or a punctured eardrum. You want to make sure you're not messing with someone who has a punctured eardrum. Most cases with my children, that wasn't the case. But if you're working with someone else, you want to be very careful. Okay? So you plug the ear with the other half of the cotton ball, and within seconds it works. As soon as, the only hard part is I have to get up in the milk at 2 in the morning and make this remedy. And no one feels like chopping garlic at 2 in the morning and heating it up and having to wait for it to cool. I don't like to use the used stuff. I like it fresh. So thank you very much. Okay, so if you look on your paper, we're not going to do the cold and flu remedy, but it's 3 grapefruit and 2 onions, 2 lemons. It tells you how to cut it. Cut the grapefruit in 8s, and then you squeeze it, and you put it in a pot like this. And you throw in peel and all. So wash your produce, because you're going to cook everything. You squeeze all the juice out of it and then you throw it in the pot. You mix all of these ingredients together. 2 lemons, 2 garlic cloves, 1 teaspoon of cayenne pepper, half a teaspoon of eucalyptus oil, which is optional, you don't have to use that, and 8 cups of water. And you bring it to a boil, and then you simmer it for 10 minutes covered. And then you drink half a cup every half hour. And it works great. You talk about knocking the cold and flu out of you. And 1 recipe is for 1 person. You can't share it with your family. If you have 4 people, you have to make 4 recipes. It's really good, and it works within 24 hours. Okay? Here's another cold and flu remedy. This is like a quick one I do, and it works good, but it takes a little longer. I get a large coffee mug. I will get a inch of ginger, cut it up, put it in there. 2 cloves of garlic, slice and put it in there. I'll do the juice of 2 lemons, put it in there. Half a teaspoon of cayenne, put it in there. And then I will put boiling water over it. And you can even put a little vitamin C powder. And then you could do 1 to 2 drops of eucalyptus oil, cover it with boiling water, put a tablespoon of honey, steep it for like 20 minutes, and give them it to drink. It's like a hot toddy without the alcohol. And it works great. It works really good. It gets some sweat. You want to put like cool rags on their head because they'll start sweating. Give them water to drink as well. Okay, so sore throat. You can gargle with warm salt water, right? You could put a drop or 2 of oil of oregano in half a cup of warm water. Gargle with it for 30 minutes, 2 times a day. That should say 30 seconds, not 30 minutes. You can gargle, that should say gargle with charcoal water. Sorry for the typo. You can put a little charcoal in some water, stir it, and gargle with that. That works great.
Yeah.
And also the cough remedy that we went over. That's wonderful. So we're going to go over a strep throat. Now, I had strep throat maybe 6 years ago. This remedy worked wonders. Now, this recipe is for 1 24-hour period, and it normally works in 24 hours. But if they still feel a little sore, do it for 48 hours. Make another recipe. So what you do is you take a 1/4 cup of honey. It's actually, I'm going to do 1/8 of honey because I'm doing half a recipe. I'm not doing the whole recipe. You would normally do a 1/4 cup of honey. It says that, right? Yes, I'm doing 1/8 cup. So I'm only doing half. And then you would do 8, for the whole recipe, you would do 16 cloves, but I'm just showing you how to make it. This is 8 cloves of chopped garlic. Now this garlic is not chopped fine enough, but we want it chopped very fine. But for the sake of time, I didn't chop it fine. You guys ever seen those hand choppers? I use those. Do it like 20 times and it's real fine, diced up well. And then you want to do, what does that say? 1 teaspoon, right? So we're going to do half a teaspoon of cayenne pepper. Now, I'm going to do a whole teaspoon of this because this is not the medicinal cayenne. This is only 40,000 heat units from a grocery store. So you double up on the dosage. You want 90,000 heat units of cayenne. So I did a whole teaspoon. No. Get these 2. Okay. And so you mix it up, and if the garlic is real fine, this will be very liquidy. But when the garlic is thick, it's hard. It's not as liquid. It would be much more liquidy than this. But you do a half a teaspoon every half hour for 24 hours. half a teaspoon every half hour for 24 hours. And it works great. I had nodules on the back of my throat. I didn't use any antibiotics. It went away. I had no more strep throat. Remember, the garlic has to be chopped finely. This is not as fine as it should be. Okay? Okay, so you want to look at someone else. Brother Nestor, can I pick on you to pass this around? Oh, she's got it. Okay. So, all right. Someone has an asthma attack. They have bronchitis. They can't breathe. They're cyanotic. They're wheezing. They have COPD. Help me, I can't breathe. I like to use warm water. We do 1.5 inches. And then you do 1 full dropper full of the lobelia tincture. So if I only get 3/4, I'm going to turn around and do 1/4. Okay? You do not want to do one more than a full dropper because lobelia can act like epicap. And what does epicap do? It makes you throw up. If you do too much lobelia, you will have a person doing emesis, vomiting. Then you do 2 dropperfuls, full dropperfuls of this moline tincture. Okay? And so I do 1 and I do 2. And take a spoon, you mix it up, and you tell them bon appetit. Tell them to drink it right down. Within 30 seconds, they'll be feeling much better. Now, in conjunction with this, I give them the honey, the cough remedy. Okay? And then I also make another, and does anyone want to pass this around so someone can smell it? See what it looks like? It's not the greatest tasting, but it works great. Moline and lobelia are excellent for the lungs. They're bronchodilators. Okay, so they work great. And that oxygen's getting in there. Okay? And then they're able to breathe better. It helps. Also, who knows what a handheld nebulizer is? It's those little machines you hold to your mouth and the steam's coming out. They put like albuterol or something in it. I put a little water and 2 drops of peppermint oil and 2 drops of eucalyptus oil. Another thing I do is I put about 1/4 cup of olive oil. Do we have this? Yes. Do we have the silver one too? So the stainless steel one that we had earlier. Yeah, I gave it to you. You took it earlier. Okay. We use it to make the honey, the syrup. Okay, so 1/4 cup of olive oil and about 3 to 4 drops, maybe more. Thank you very much. So this is eucalyptus. I might put like 5. You can do 6, 3, 4. Now if you have children, you don't want as much. When you're working with essential oils on babies, try a little small area of the skin to make sure they don't have an allergic reaction. Because I have a nephew when he was 2, it was like 10 years ago, he couldn't breathe and I'm rubbing it all over his chest and he broke out in a rash. And Pat made me panic and I was crying because I'm like, I didn't mean to do that to my nephew. He was allergic to everything. And then this is, I don't want to clove. What did I do with my eucalyptus? Peppermint. Is this pepper? Okay, pepper. So, I'm out. Good thing I ordered some more. Okay, well, I put a few drops in there. Okay, so we mix this up, and then we rub it all over the chest. We rub it all over the back. Why is that? If they're having breathing problems, what organ is affected? The lungs. And we put it on the bottom of the feet. And guess why the feet? If you didn't put on the chest or the back, and you rub it only on the feet, they'll feel it go right up to the lungs immediately. The largest vessels in the body is in the bottom of your feet. Who knew that? Yes, that's in our writings. And so then you want to put socks on top. And this works great. And always do this in the evening. You could do it in the morning, twice a day, but especially before they go to bed. Now, someone with breathing problems, do you want them laying flat? No. You want them at a 45-degree angle. So put pillows behind them. Elevate the bed if they have one of those beds that lift up a little bit. Make sure they're not laying flat because they will have breathing problems. And if they're on oxygen and they're having breathing problems, should this person be smoking? I've been working with people and they still smoke, but then they complain they can't breathe. So it's really like trying to put Pine-Sol on your toilet, but you haven't gotten rid of the fecal matter to try to clean it out. So you have to get rid of the problem that's causing it in the first place. It should have a little more peppermint. I think that's it. Yeah, this is the most common, this and eucalyptus of my oils that I use. Okay, so that's for asthma attack, breathing difficulty, and lung problems. And we'll be learning what is the best water treatment for the lungs that can knock out a pneumonia in 24 hours. I've worked with 4 or 5 people with pneumonia, and their pneumonia was gone the next day. Yes. Okay? Now, headache. If someone is suffering from a headache or a migraine, you have them get a piece of paper, a pen, a timer, an 8-ounce cup, or get them a 16-ounce bottle of water and take a marker and divide it in half. Okay? Every 10 minutes, they want to drink 8 ounces. So you put the timer on, you set it, well, you don't set it yet. You fill the cup with 8 ounces of water, or you drink half a bottle. You put a hash mark on your paper, and then you set the timer for 10 minutes. When the timer goes off, you repeat the process until you have 9 hash marks. By the time you have that 9th hash mark, 90% of the time the migraine is gone. But if the migraine is not gone, what do you continue doing? You keep doing it until it is. Another thing that works great is you can get fresh ginger and suck on it the whole time. That works great in conjunction. You don't necessarily need it, but it does work wonders. Okay? Now, also, people who have head congestion, we're going to be learning the water treatment in the near future, what to do for that. But another thing you can do is take a big pot like this, fill it with water, and put like 6, 8, 10 drops of eucalyptus oil and peppermint oil. And then take a towel and let the steam just hit your face, right? You also can mix it with a little olive oil, these essential oils, and rub over your sinus areas. Rub right here. Whenever you have congestion, you rub right here, you rub right here, right here. You could put some on a washcloth, hot washcloth, and you could put it over and rub, and it works wonders. It works wonders, like I just got some in my eye. Okay? Oh, something else I forgot to tell you, which we didn't bring. Another thing you can do for earache, but it's not as effective. It doesn't work as fast. It takes 8 hours. But if you don't have garlic and olive oil, you can take an onion, peel it, cut it in half, drop it in boiling water. After it's boiled for like 15 minutes, take it out, wrap it in cheesecloth or a stocking, and put it over the ear. It will draw out the infection. But it takes about 8 hours. And then you can wrap like an ace patch. They're going to look goofy. They're going to look silly. They're going to have an onion sticking out of their ear. But you want to wrap it with an ace bandage. And that works great. But the garlic oil works immediately. Okay? And then I think that is it. And you can just read all the information on here for head congestion problems. So what I'll do is I will take 2 questions. We'll take a pause, and then we'll go into our next one. Anyone have a question? Okay, Sister Purple has a question.
What is the mustard? That's dry mustard.
Where are you reading?
In your congestion sinus.
Okay.
It says do a hot foot bath with mustard.
We'll be learning that when we do the hot foot bath, when we do the water treatments. We'll cover that in the water treatments. For the sake of time, I didn't want to cover every detail on here, but it is the condiment mustard, not the mustard powder. It's the condiment that people would spread on there.
Okay.
Yes, it's the condiment. Okay? So question, where do you not want to get your honey from? Any store. Not Kroger's, not Whole Foods Market. You only want to get what 3 places? Farmer's Market, Honey Farm, or Trader Joe's. And if you guys want that information and see the article on this, just send me a request. My email address is the letter C for Christine, biblical, BIBLICAL @yahoo.com. Those who are watching online, if you want any of these documents of the remedies, just send me an email request. So one other question, anyone have a question? Okay. Oh, Rich has a question.
You got anything for sleep?
Oh, yes. Peppermint tea, chamomile tea, hops tea. Excellent for insomnia, the prophet says. Hops is the best. If you can get access to hops. That's kind of harder to get access to. So if you go to your local grocery store, Celestial Seasonings has, and I wouldn't get their sleepy time tea because there's other ingredients that I would agree with. But if you get chamomile, that helps you sleep. Peppermint, especially, and I do 2 tea bags for the peppermint oil. Getting off of the meat and the dairy, that's helpful, especially caffeine. 1 cup of coffee lasts in your system 14 hours. So if you had a cup at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, guess what? Babysitter, you up till 5 in the morning, like struggling with sleep, and people wonder why they don't sleep. And it's the same with soda. And what do people drink? A lot of soda, a lot of tea, a lot of coffee. So it's getting off of that, a warm bath, not a hot bath. That warm bath really helps. Prayer is the key as well. Okay? Does that answer kind of your question? Okay.
Almost all of those things have been tried. She still can't get to sleep at night.
Okay, we'll have to get to the root of the problem and find out what it is. Also, medication has a lot of side effects for insomnia. So if people are on medication that causes insomnia, these natural remedies are not going to work. Right. So that's the key, finding that out as well. But we can always get to the root of the problem. Great. Okay.
Question. When do you drink the tea?
Right before bedtime.
You gotta get up at night.
Huh?
You gotta get up at night.
But I'd rather have to get up at night than suffer from insomnia. Insomnia is a horrible thing, especially if you have to go to work in the morning. Yes. But probably start drinking it maybe about 20, 30 minutes before bedtime so it can have its effect. Okay, we're going to go into our natural remedies for everyday ailments. Now, we already went over the cough remedy, the earache remedy, we went over the headache remedy, because sometimes I just give this handout, and they don't have the cold and flu season handout, but we give the cold and flu season handout during the cold and flu season. We start giving that handout at the beginning of September, because the cold and flu season is coming right away. Now, question. What causes a cold? Rain and cold? She said germs, okay? A low immune system. Low immune system. And what suppresses the immune system? She said it over here. Stress, but more than stress, what suppresses the immune system? Sugar. Just 2 or 3 teaspoons can pretty much wipe out your white blood cells. And your white blood cells is your fighters, right? For infection, for colds, for flus. Now, what time of year does the cold and flu season get real prominent? But what month specifically? January, February. Now let's find out why. What happens at the end of October?
Thanksgiving.
Halloween. What is everybody eating? Candy. What comes in November? Thanksgiving. What are people eating? Pies, cookies, cakes. What comes in December? Christmas. What are people eating? Pies, cookies, cakes, candies, right? What comes in January? People are still eating like fudge and candies, right? So do we wonder why we're sick in January and February? Does it make sense?
All the 4 major food groups: cookies, cake, candy, and soda pop.
Yes. So does that make sense as to why people are so sick? Another thing, the reason why people are so sick is, where do people run to in the wintertime? They run indoors, right? You need that vitamin D in the wintertime. And so when you have vitamin D, your body's not susceptible to getting colds and flus. But when you run indoors and you're not getting that sunshine, you're making yourself very susceptible to cold and flus, along with eating the sugar and stuff like that. Does that make sense? Okay. So we're going to talk about nature's stitches. I don't have the products here, but you do equal parts of honey to equal parts of wheat germ oil. And you can get the wheat germ oil from Vitacost, and Vitacost information is on each paper. So equal parts of honey, and raw honey is good if you can use it externally. We don't want to eat raw honey. The prophet says we want boiled honey, because it needs to be pasteurized to take it internally. I know we've been told otherwise, but we have much to unlearn and much to learn again. So if the prophet says use boiled honey, so I get the honey that's not raw for internal. But when I do external applications for wound care and stuff like that, I use raw honey. Okay, so you do, and you can use the other honey as well if it's not raw. It works good as well. So you do equal portions of honey to wheat germ oil, not wheat germ, but the wheat germ oil, and stir it well. And then you want to put in comfrey leaves, not comfrey powder, comfrey leaves, and pour enough in there until you have a thick paste. Now, my friend, one of these creases in his hand busted wide open, and he had a gap this wide and about that deep. He was doing a lot of work, machinery and stuff. We put that in there, and the next day it was completely sealed. My son's friend fell into the window at the library, walked all the way to my house with his leg bleeding the whole time. He came, I put water on it so I could see where the cut was. I put peroxide to cleanse it. I put cayenne pepper on it for about 10 minutes. Why did I put cayenne pepper? To stop the bleeding. Nothing stops bleeding like cayenne pepper. But you have to pack it in there and you have to hold it. Then about 10-15 minutes, I scraped it away with a little water. And then I put this nature stitches. The next day you couldn't even tell he was cut. This stuff works wonders. Another good thing that you don't have access to out here in this desert is tree resin that you get from a pine tree. And you find them on the edges of pine cones, those little dollops of pine pitch. That works great for sealing wounds as well. You don't need stitches. But this is nature stitches, and this remedy works wonders. Okay. Now, how many people have had a toothache? And that's painful, huh? You know, it can be very dangerous too, especially if it's going to the brain. That's an infection going to your brain. You really need to take care of it as soon as possible. When my daughter was pregnant with my grandson, who's going to be 10 in November, so this was 10 years ago, she called me up and said, Mom, I have a major toothache. I have an abscess around the tooth, and I don't want to use any medicine because I'm pregnant. what do I do? So I told my niece who was there with her, go to the health food store and get only 2 items. Who knows what those 2 items are? Activated charcoal and clove oil. That's it. And a little bit of water. Activated charcoal and clove oil. Clove oil. And I use Earache or Revive. Earache is really good. And you can get the Earache clove oil, the essential oils, on Vitacost. But if you really want good quality oils too, you can go to revive-eo.com. And it's on your paperwork. If you use my code cbiblical01, you'll get a 10% discount off of everything. Okay, so she used this remedy, and the next day the abscess had shrunk by 50%, and the pain was completely gone within about an hour. And so it worked wonders for her. I have had major toothache in the very teeth that have mercury in them. The prophet said when you have mercury fillings, your teeth will fall out. So that happened to me. This is like gauze here. I'm going to show you what I can do in just a minute. Can we throw this out and clean this one out? Okay. So, you don't need to do a whole tablespoon. I do a whole tablespoon. I'm not going to do that right now. But I do a whole tablespoon because you can put this aside and let it sit for a day or two. But cover it, because otherwise it'll absorb. And don't cover it with plastic, because it'll absorb the plastic. Yeah. Put like a paper or something over it and wrap a Band-Aid around it. So, here's the clove oil. And then we'll pass this around. And a baby who's teething, you put a little olive oil in a little container and put a few drops of this and mix it and rub it on the gums. Better than any Androsol or teething products on the market. Those products toughen the baby's gums and make it harder for the tooth to come through. This does the opposite. It actually helps assist the tooth come through. And there's no side effects, and this stuff works great. Okay, so I'm going to put maybe 4 or 5 drops, maybe 6. Okay. And then you want just a little bit of water, because you want it to be like a peanut butter consistency. And the more you stir, the thicker it gets. Always start off with a small amount, and the more you stir, and sometimes you might add a little too much water. You just put a little more, just a tiny more charcoal. I might have added just a little too much. I'll stir for like 30 more seconds because I don't have my glasses on. Yeah, I'm going to do just a little more, just a tiny bit more so you can see the consistency that it should be. Okay, so it should be like that. You guys see that? Ernie? It should be like this. You want it to drip just a little, but not too much. You guys see that consistency? So what you do is you put a dollop in the center of your gauze, like this. You see that? And then you fold in your edges. Okay? And then you put the wet side against the toothache area. So if it's over here, you put it inside there. If it's on the top of there, you put it up there and hold it with your tongue, which is easy to do. This works wonders. And then you do it every couple hours, make a new one. This is a miracle worker. I've had so many people thank me. Oh, you have no idea. Now, some people need to get the tooth removed. Sister White had 8 teeth extracted at one time with no medication. But if you don't want the tooth removed, I mean, if you do want the tooth removed, but the dentist is closed or you can't get there today, this is wonderful for your relief. But I never wound up going to the dentist when I needed this. So this works wonders. So if anybody wants this remedy.
No.
Okay. Let's switch this away. Okay. Anyone suffer from acne? No? Well, a lot of people suffer from acne, especially the young people. What causes acne? What's one of the main causes? Fried foods. Fried foods. Now, during women's cycle time, I used to get one pimple here, here, and here. It was like 3 dots. Oh, I hated it. But, honey, wash your face off with hot water, pat it dry, and do a honey mask. And put it on all the blotches and blemishes and the pimples and the scars. Do this every day. If you have suffered from acne in 2 weeks, the acne is gone. You can go on YouTube and watch tutorials of people doing this. And they'll show you before and after. They'll show you every day. And in 2 weeks, 3 weeks, it's incredible. The acne is completely gone. And I'm talking about people with really bad acne. And people who have scarring, it helps with the scarring as well. It's wonderful. Now, the last remedy we're going to be doing tonight, and my phone number is on there, area code 208-217-5285. Now, the last thing I'm going to show you is I'm going to show you how to make a charcoal poultice to put over insect bites, or if you've banged your hand. My granddaughter got her hand slammed. My grandsons were goofing off. They didn't pay attention, slammed my granddaughter's hand in the metal door, completely shut. She was screaming bloody murder. I put the cold water on her hand, she was still screaming. I made the charcoal poultice, wrapped it around her hand, and as soon as it touched, she said, Grandma, it doesn't hurt anymore. And I left it on overnight, no broken anything, no pain. If in the spirit of prophecy, a guy hit his hand really badly with a hammer, he wasn't going to be able to work for 3 months. It was all swollen and bruised. The next day, Sister White saw it after it happened. She put the charcoal poultice, and in 24 hours, gone. Swelling is gone. He can go back to work the next day. Miracle stuff. If you put it over the stomach of someone suffering from fever, and then put a hot water bottle or a hot towel on top, it takes away the fever. Because fever starts in the colon. Never put cold over the stomach. For a fever, you'll make the fever come back and get worse. And we'll be learning about remedies from the Spirit of Prophecy next week. We're going to be looking at all these quotes from the Spirit of Prophecy on what to do for insomnia, what to do for someone bleeding from the bowels, what to do for someone who has a broken skull, a horse just trampled on, what to do if you're platelets and you have leukemia, just many wonderful things. If you have anemia, you need a transfusion. We're going to be learning what to do for all of those things. But let me ask you, is any of this hard? This is all simple. Maybe a little choppy, might be a little hard. Because when you're sick, you don't feel like doing it if you're by yourself. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going I'm not going to make a very big one. And psyllium seed husk grounded is really good to mix with this. Flaxseed if you're dealing with insect bites, snake bites. Prophet talks about flaxseed, ground flaxseed, and charcoal powder. Now, these are binders. If you do charcoal with just water, it dries out and gets messy. If you mix it with psyllium seed husk or psyllium grounded flaxseed, it binds and it becomes gelatinous and it doesn't get messy. So it's really good to have some flaxseed. I believe the psyllium is equal portions, but the flaxseed is not equal portions. So I'm doing a little less flaxseed powder than I'm doing the charcoal powder. Now I'm not making a big batch like I do normally, but I'm going to make enough to show you what to do with this. This might be a big batch though after all. So you mix it very well, and you be very careful when you mix it because it'll poof all over and mess you up, and it's stained. And nothing cleans after you charcoal. Like awesome. Who knows what this stuff is? They used to go door to door and sell this for $40. Guess where you can get it now? Dollar Tree, Walmart, Winco, 99-cent store. And I used to have this hood over my stove. It would get so gloopy and nothing would clean it, not even an oven cleaner. And I spray this and the stuff just comes right off. When you take a bath in charcoal water, if a baby or a child has a rash from breaking out of something, and then you spray this, nothing cleans the charcoal out of the tub. But the moment you spray this, it comes right off. So on your counters, in your sink, awesome, it's great. It's only $1. Awesome, because it's really awesome. It really is awesome. It's wonderful stuff. Okay, so I'm going to mix some water. We want this to come in a ball. I hope I didn't put, I always tend to put more water than I should. Maybe not though. You know what, I'm going to have you clean these out for me. No uses. But if it's too watery, what can I do? See that? You got to be very careful stirring it too hard. It poofs everywhere. Be real careful. Good thing I'm wearing dark colors and not white. Charcoal. And it starts to thicken up and it's going to turn into a gelatinous ball. See it's starting to thicken up, but I'll show you how thick I want it. I'm going to put a little more charcoal, just a little bit, and a little more flaxseed. And when you're closing your bag, be very careful, because sometimes the charcoal tends to poof out that little corner. Just put that little tiny bit of that in there. Okay. So let me stir this up. Yeah, it's getting real thick now. There it goes. Now I might be getting too thick. It's fun. Okay, so see this gelatinous ball? That's what you want it like. You want it, and the more you play with it, the little thicker it'll get. So, I have this blob. Reminds me of the blob. Okay? So now what you do is you want plastic wrap, and a rolling pin is really good to have. But we don't have one here. You can get a rolling pin for 99 cents at the Dollar Tree or for $1. So we're going to take this blob and we're going to put it in the very center. Just like that. You can smash it a little bit. And then we're going to put another piece on top. Like that. Okay? Then what you do is you roll it out. Now it's better to have a rolling pin. Yeah, this can isn't working that well. But you guys get the idea. I make enough. See, if I would have used 2 tablespoons instead of 1 tablespoon, it would fill this whole thing up. Roll it out to as thin as you, not too thin, and you don't want to press down too hard or it sticks against the plastic. But when you go to put it, so what I do is I'll roll it like this, put it in a Ziploc bag and stick it in the freezer. Okay? You can take these with you. Make several of them when you go camping because you can get bit by a spider, you can get poison oak, poison ivy, and they firm up really well. It's better when you do this, unless it's a snake bite or some kind of insect bite, it's good to use the psyllium because it's thicker and it applies better. Okay, so you would take the top piece off and you would apply it over the area. Or if you need just a small piece, I don't have this much difficult time trying to get the plastic off. Okay.
Wow.
Okay, I don't know why there's plastic made because of the heat or humidity. So you would gently peel it off. Okay? And you would gently peel it off. Then, let's say the hand was swollen. You would put this directly against the area. And then you would use this plastic to wrap the rest of the area. And then you can use an ace bandage. This is wonderful. Now, if you're trying to do a stomach on a larger person, you would want more to spread over. But this is wonderful. And you can cut it. When you have the plastic, you can cut it into strips. If you just got a little bite, you can put it directly over the bite, just a little piece. But these are great to have. If you don't have psyllium and you don't have flaxseed, use water and just charcoal. Like I did today, I spread it on a paper towel on the top portion, folded the other portion over, and wrapped it over somebody's hand, who banged their hand. And the pain was subsiding within just a few minutes. So this is an excellent, excellent remedy. So I'm going to let Kim have this one, so that I'm using the charcoal. Okay, so we'll rewrap it. Okay, so I'll keep this for them. So, any questions? Okay, this gentleman has a question over here.
Psyllium. How do you spell it?
Psyllium. It's psyllium husk, and it comes in like a powder.
Where do you buy
You can get it from a health food store, but Metamucil, that's what it is.
it? Course around.
Yes, yes.
I got a question for the cuts.
For the cuts,
Yeah, what did you say you put on after you rinse off the kind of pepper?
you would use the nature stitches on your paper. The wheat germ oil mixed with equal portions of the honey with the comfrey leaves. And you can get comfrey leaves from a health food store. You can go online and order them. Comfrey, C-O-M-F-R-E-Y. It's on your paper. It's on your paper where nature stitches is. Okay, Ernie has a question.
Yes, for the nature stitches, it says wash, carry, clean, apply nature stitches. Results are normally seen within a day or two. You'll reapply it every certain amount, or the same one you keep on.
Do each day. Each day. On top of what's already there. You don't peel it away. Okay? Okay, Suki has a question.
Buy your charcoal powder.
I normally buy it wholesale, but I have to buy 40 pounds, which is costly, but we sell it. But we're out now. We just ran out a couple weeks ago, about a week ago, 2 weeks ago. But you can get it from charcoalremedies.com, Charcoal House. It's the same company, Charcoal House. You can get the 10-ounce container for like $12.
You have it on Amazon too. For those people that have Prime.
Right, who don't pay shipping. Yes.
Can you take untreated wood, burn it, and then grind it up and make it charcoal one?
Absolutely, but it has to be smothered as it's burning. Yes.
Mother it has to burn.
It has to be covered. It can't just be burning out in the open with the air coming down on it. It has to be smothered with like a lid or something over it, like a Dutch oven or something. And that's what helps with the carbon. Yes. And then you want the center portion of the wood. Untreated wood. Yes. Any other questions? No other questions? Okay, brother in the back.
So, boiled honey, you buy it out of the store,
Yes, but which stores?
Trader Joe, and so they.
Farmers Market and Honey Farm, they have both the raw and the cooked, which is boiled, which is pasteurized.
Okay.
But you want to make sure it doesn't say raw. Like this one I have says raw. So I was just giving you guys an example because I don't have the regular honey. But I would not use raw honey to do the cough medicine. Okay, I would tell people to heat it up on the stove. What you can do too is you can take this bottle. Well, this is plastic. I wouldn't do it in plastic, but glass. I would put it in boiling water and let it cook it in the bottle, and then use that. Question?
On honey, I got a guy that's going to give me some honey. Because that would be raw honey.
That's raw, probably raw. Unless he pasteurizes it. Ask him if he has pasteurized honey as well. Okay? Any other questions? Well, isn't this wonderful to know? Okay, so he has a question.
That's not a question. I got bit by a rattlesnake, and in the garden, and I did not call my husband to work, so I might take it to the emergency room.
Okay.
I used charcoal.
Okay.
Flaxseed. You
Okay.
can buy a whole bag of ground flaxseed already.
Right.
And I was able to go to work the next day.
How often did you use it?
I used it, I put it on, I got it in the finger, and I put it on all the way to the elbow.
How often did you change it?
I changed it before going to bed.
How many times in the 24-hour period did you change it?
I just changed it, let's see, about 3 times, I'd say.
Okay. You were blessed, but if you want the most effective remedy for snake bite, you are to change that poultice every 20 minutes for the first 4 hours. Then you're supposed to change it every 30 minutes for the next 6 hours. Then you're supposed to change it every hour for the remaining 24 hours. And then after that, you can change it each day for the most effective. Now, you got bit on your finger. There are some snakes that are more deadly, probably, like a cobra or something else. You really want to be aggressive, especially like with a recluse spider bite. You want to be aggressive because what happens, is all the poisons going in that charcoal. So you need to change the charcoal and have fresh charcoal.
You can go over that 20 minutes, every 20 minutes for how long?
The first 4 hours.
And then,
Every 30 minutes for the next 6 hours. And then next for the next 14 hours, which makes 24 hours, it's every hour. And then after the 24 hours, you're out of the danger zone. Then every day, one application. Or you could do 2, morning and evening. Okay?
thank you.
Okay, yes?
Now, can you, or should you drink it as well?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But if you're on medication, you're only supposed to drink it 2 hours before or 2 hours after. And we'll be learning about the remedies spoken of in the spirit of prophecy. But if you got bit by anything dangerous, you want to start chugging that down as well. Yes.
The same amount of hours?
No. The external is what you do. Oh, and here's the other thing. When you apply charcoal poultice in about 10-15 minutes, there's going to be a bubble. What's that bubble? It's the poison. Now, how do you get the poison out? You have to sterilize a pin or a razor blade and cut both sides. And squeeze the stuff out. Then put another charcoal poultice on top. Okay? Yes. And when you're squeezing the stuff out, be careful because the venom and poison can affect the skin. So I like to put oil around the area before I squeeze it out. Okay? Or Vaseline or something. So it doesn't get in contact with the skin.
Does it leave a tattoo if you cut it?
You know what? You can leave a tattoo, but I'd rather have a tattoo than need my arm cut out off or something.
You
Yes.
said to cut the bubble and you what?
And make an incision on both sides, a small incision, and then squeeze that poison out. I would not recommend you suck it out.
Oh, no.
Some people suck it out.
Ew.
But that goes into your bloodstream, huh?
There, or something.
Yeah, but you know what? Squeezing it out is even better. Getting it out with your hand. Question?
I work with a lady that has lymphedema in
Okay.
her arm.
Okay.
And it's a pipe item. One that's really big, the other one's normal size.
Okay.
And she always gets infections in that arm.
Okay.
Would a charcoal poultice help with that?
Yes, but we also have to get to the root of the problem because this is only going to be temporary, but the problem's not going to go away until we get to the root of the problem. Because of lymphedema, there's underlying issues. This is more for like if you got bit right now, if you have a cough right now, if you have a cold right now. That charcoal poultice will work as will a hot and cold treatment, but that would be something that would really have to be worked on. Okay?
How many times would you cut, after you put the poultice back on, after you cut the
Poison out.
poison out, will you just do that one time?
Most times you only need to do it once.
Okay.
And you want to make sure the poultice is covering way past the bubble, because what happens is, or the bite, I should say. Because what happens is the venom and the poison starts to spread immediately. You'll see red streaks. I saw this on my friend's mom, and she wouldn't let me do the poultice more than once. She wouldn't let me cut the bubble. She had a bubble this big from a round recluse, and she wound up having to get her surgery done. And they cut her leg, and they messed up her leg so bad. She was like, I should have let you do the charcoal. Yes, so, okay. So wasn't that fun? Learning this stuff and knowing these simple things?
Absolutely.
So God bless you guys for coming. We're going to be learning more charcoal remedies, I think Sunday. We're going to be learning more remedies Sunday. We're going to be learning what remedies the prophet recommends for many different things. Okay? So God bless you.